we're searching for dedicated, enthusiastic entrepreneurs who are looking to start a business here in beautiful St. Bernard Parish. Entrepreneurs of all walks of life entered this competition, and now it comes down to the top 5. Today, these 5 finalists will be judged by a panel of experts. The last competitor standing will win a prize package worth $100,000. This is Startup St. Bernard. Entrepreneurs, are you ready to start Startup St. Bernard? Ladies and gentlemen, our first finalist. Can we welcome to the stage Neutral Ground?
My name is Vincent Vambaco. I'm with Neutral Ground, a digital woodshop headquartered right here in St. Bernard Parish. Neutral Ground began with an idea for a product that would exist at the intersection of my hobbies and skill set, video games and rapid prototyping technology. I Googled every possible search term, and I didn't find anything close to my idea. It didn't exist. I decided to sell a laser-etched wood map from a Nintendo game, turning plywood into profit. I leased a laser cutter and spent 7 months creating the artwork with Alex Greenling, the most qualified illustrator for the job. As Neutral Ground was a brand new business with no revenue, I wasn't able to afford his original quote. But we both believed in the project, so we agreed to a profit-sharing method with no cap. Effectively, we were augmenting both of our businesses with the idea of artwork as investment. This established one of Neutral Ground's core tenets. We're a business in service to other businesses. I nervously hit the launch button, sent the tweet, and published the Facebook post. It didn't take long to go viral. An independent video game developer retweeted my post, and it took off. Within minutes, articles were published by the internet's largest video game websites praising the product I had made in a tiny shotgun house in the Irish Channel. As the orders piled up, I was forced to temporarily close my online store only hours after opening it. I had sold 125 maps and had a wait list of over 500 people. In other words, I had 2,900 hours of laser cutting ahead of me. Alex ended up earning more than double his original quote, and my business was profitable on day 1. Since then, we've released 11 map designs and partnered with 8 more artists. A concern of mine, confirmed by my sales data, is the seasonality of my sales. Most of my customers give maps as holiday gifts. At this point, I began to diversify Neutral Ground's product offerings, bringing us to what the business is today. As I said earlier, we're a business in service to other businesses. Here are some examples of our work. On the left is a sidewalk sign we made for Rene, a bike shop and cafe in the CBD. The A-frame is over 4 feet tall and generates a lot of walk-in traffic for their store. We also offer a variety of other signage that you can see up here. We offer more than signs. Pictured here are other examples of more custom offerings. You may recognize the name Derek Jeter. We made these wood press credentials for events hosted by his organization, the Players Tribune. Because I've reached a saturation point of man hours, laser time, and workspace, it's time to grow. I've had to turn down several large orders due to these constraints. With a second machine and additional manpower, I'll be able to do many more custom projects and launch additional product lines. I'm making enough money to sustain, but your help would accelerate growth dramatically, and here's how. In this diagram, our limiting factors are listed in rows, and the columns are phases of growth in 4-month increments. The bottom figures compare cost of growth to sales projections based upon 4 years of data. In phase 1, I'd be looking to hire a marketing manager to outsource my work as a marketing manager because I'm not very good at it. I'd be looking to actually get a physical retail space and acquire a second laser cutter. In phase 2, I'd hire a workshop technician to help with fabrication. Our utilities would go up a few $100s a month due to the second laser cutter we added in phase 1. We build out some collaboration space within that footprint so that I could meet with clients and discuss custom projects. And then we'd buy a large-scale CNC router for our tools. Phase 3, we'd add a retail specialist to manage the space. Again, we go up a little bit in utilities per month due to adding a CNC router. And we'd build out a retail space to sell all of our goods in the front of house. And we'd also add another small router so that each technician could have access to whichever tool they would need at any given moment without having to wait. And as you can see across the bottom, our sales projections outpace our total cost of growth. And these numbers were generated based upon 4 years of sales data. Our final limiting factor is shop space. Having a dedicated workshop with a storefront would increase Neutral Ground's capacity. I currently ship worldwide from our Araby home. We found a great location in the old Araby Cultural District. We've generated a lot of website traffic thus far and would be a great opportunity to bring our worldwide presence home to St. Bernard Parish. This floor plan is located right next to the new Conseco's on St. Claude Avenue, like right down the street from Studio Araby. But the physical footprint would be more than just fabrication space. Like I mentioned, we'd build out retail in the front and meet with clients in that space as well. In starting the business and testing market viability, I made minimal overhead a priority. I've avoided commercial rent by manufacturing at my home, materials ordered in bulk, and I'm very proud to say that the laser cutter was paid off in 48 hours. All of this has allowed Neutral Ground to operate profitably from day one. Now that the business model and products have proven successful, I'm ready to lease a space in the old Araby Cultural District and hire employees. Giving our customers ability to witness Neutral Ground's high-tech fabrication will be a modern addition to the cultural district. Neutral Ground was built with scalability in mind. With your support, Neutral Ground can grow alongside other St. Bernard businesses. Thank you for your time, and I invite your questions.
So my question is really about scalability. You talk about that, and you already talked about within 24 hours you had to shut down the website. How are you going to prevent that from happening again? And on your total cost of growth regarding employees, have you really thought, is that going to be enough? Because if you set out a marketing manager, are you going to be able to keep up with the demand?
Yep. First question about scalability. I hope that happens again. I hope to shut down the website again. That'd be phenomenal. But now we use Shopify for our e-commerce, and we're able to handle the kind of web traffic we weren't initially. So I'd be able to handle the online capacity. And adding more tools to the shop would absolutely help with the scalability. The whole business was built to scale. I can myself run many of these machines at one time. All the artwork has been done. You just hit go. It takes about 4.5 hours to print a map. So adding more machinery would alleviate that issue. And if we had more space, we could actually, create some inventory and have some backstock as well. And what was your second question?
Well, it's really mostly about the scalability, making sure that you don't get yourself into a situation where you have a marketing manager that you've just hired now, they go out and market for you and you're not able to keep up with the demand. Right. You only get a couple bites at the apple, so you don't, as much as you'd love it to shut down in 48 hours, is not good for future of the business.
Right.
Great presentation, Vincent.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your success.
Thanks.
Question for you about your customer profile. If you can take a deeper dive into how you target or define your customer profile, and I'd love to know a little bit more about how you price this, and talk about scalability on the sales side.
Okay. The customer profile is essentially is me. It's someone who's got some nerdy hobbies and some discretionary income. Who grew up with Nintendo playing in their living room, and it's someone who this taps into their nostalgia. The maps at least. Signage are a totally different market, obviously. I mean, small business owners mostly, and then even we offer a variety of types of signage for many different markets. So even as small as a tabletop sign that we could market to people like an Idea Village or something that have a place that they have their own co-working space so they can identify themselves within that space. So we can adapt to many different markets. And your other question was about scalability with cost of, so the cost of goods for Neutral Ground, we have really good margins. I mean, we're essentially turning plywood into like a collector's item. So I currently outsource CNC machining of these blanks, and there's a little bit of a cost associated with that, which I'm hoping to bring in-house if I were fortunate enough to get your help. But the actual cost of goods for my laser time the product itself, shipping is about $17. And then I pay the artist 20% of the total sale, which works out to be about $30, and we sell them for $150. So pretty good cost of goods. Thank you.
Yes, you can. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a big round of applause for Neutral Ground. Vincent, ladies and gentlemen. Let's keep Startup St. Bernard going. Contestant number 2, Pontchartrain Mushrooms. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome to Richard. Richard.
Hey, my name is Wade Watson. I am the co-owner and operator of Pontchartrain Mushrooms. Well, good afternoon. My first name is Richard, but I go by Wade. So anyhow, my name is Wade Watson. I am the owner, operator of Pontchartrain Mushrooms. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could grow and supply a local, healthy, sustainable food source in St. Bernard Parish and work towards alternative solutions to problems like coastal erosion and many other environmental issues that we face today at the same time? Let me just say, mushrooms are incredible. Not only are they delicious, they are a highly nutritious food source. In fact, mushrooms have so many other applications that I don't even have time to get in that today because I would take all your time. So moving on. I haven't always been a professional mushroom grower. In fact, for 19 years, I worked across the country as a professional chef on catering teams and in elite restaurants. In fact, for 7 of those years, I was an executive chef, and I was very involved in local farmers markets. Not only shopping there for my own personal use, but I would write entire menus around their seasonality. Pontchartrain Mushrooms was started from a love of nature and an idea that my wife and I had after an amazing day of foraging for chanterelle mushrooms in 2014. When we started growing mushrooms in 2015, we saw a huge void in the market. There was one commercial grower in the state, and now there are 2, including Pontchartrain Mushrooms. I mean, here we are in the greater New Orleans area with so many amazing restaurants, with such a demand for high quality specialty produce, and nobody locally is able to meet this demand. Yet. In May of 2016, we decided it was time for me to transition away to work alongside of the professional industry that I know and love. I left my position to pursue Pontchartrain Mushrooms full-time, and since day one, I've worked on building a brand with solid foundations and a reputation for quality. And in the past 2 years, I have developed 19 wholesale accounts in the greater New Orleans area. Unfortunately, I've been forced to turn down many more because I am unable to grow a larger volume with my current setup. The biggest obstacle from day one has always been a greater demand than I am able to supply. With this plan, I intend to move Pontchartrain Mushrooms from St. Tammany to St. Bernard Parish, lease a 2,000 to 3,000 square foot facility, warehouse or commercial, and build and purchase the equipment needed to grow gourmet and medicinal mushrooms for wholesale, retail, and market purchase. In year 1, we plan to hire 1 full-time employee and focus on a production of 500 pounds weekly. Projections have us at $146,082 in sales, just in wholesale, with around a 25% profit margin after owner salary and wages. This is based on an average of seasonal restaurant trends in our area. In year 2, we plan to hire another full-time employee, adding new varieties, upping production to 600 pounds weekly. At this time, we would begin packaging for retail. We would also offer tabletop farm grow kits to local consumers, as well as farmers to supplement their market production. We would also offer educational workshops for those that are also interested in learning how to grow mushrooms themselves. Now, in year 3, my wife would rejoin the team. We would up production to 700 pounds weekly. branching out to local farmers markets, and purchasing land in St. Bernard Parish to begin building our permanent state-of-the-art facility. At that rate, we plan on production of over 1,000 pounds weekly, which breaks down to about 24,000 weekly in sales, or 288,000 annually, just in fresh mushroom sales alone. This plan increases my current capacity tenfold in year one. But that's not where my vision of Pontchartrain mushrooms ends. I'm proud to say that 100% of the soil used in this fashion will be directly donated for use in coastal restoration projects in St. Bernard Parish. This entire prize package would allow me to make an immediate economic impact and allow me to complete my vision in St. Bernard Parish, growing exponentially and connecting deep roots with the community, benefiting the economy and the ecology, hopefully for many generations to come. Thank you for your time and consideration.
One of the things you talk about is wholesale, and so when you say wholesale, you don't mean you're selling to restaurants. You mean you're selling to distributors.
I mean both.
You're doing
I mean
both.
Yes, I have. I go direct to restaurant now, which is what I have done, and so yes, I would be going to a distributor at this volume.
Okay.
Yes.
And then, so you're not doing You're not
I do
using
not.
the wholesale as
I
of right
distribute everything myself at this time.
now. And then one of the things you kind of go into this. You took me on this mushroom journey here for a minute about how wonderful they are.
Right.
But one of the interesting things is that like no one knows that.
Sure.
So you're kind of like in an uphill marketing battle with this mushroom project with that. And then also like, is there any like studies to say like people like mushroom consumption nationwide is going up or whatever? Like, is there any studies that people are using more shrooms?
I don't believe that there are studies that reflect people are using more mushrooms. I believe the demand is already here, and I can speak of that by my experience as a chef working around this area in the city. I can promise you that many of the restaurants nowadays that purchase mushrooms, they're coming from as far away as Pennsylvania. And most of these restaurants are going through upwards of 20 pounds a week each. Now, when I have costed this out, we would need 40 accounts at an average of 5 pounds a week to meet those sales marks. And I believe that that is very easily attainable.
Cool, thanks.
Yes, sir.
Question for you regarding the production and harvesting cycle.
Sure.
Can you dive a little bit more into that,
Yeah.
and then also tell us about how that can or cannot affect your customer acquisition efforts?
Sure thing. Yeah, absolutely. Good question. Mushroom farming is a very quick turnaround as opposed to traditional agriculture. For instance, by the time I take my substrate, once it's ultra pasteurized essentially, and I inoculate it with the culture that I'm trying to grow, I can produce fruit in as fast as 1 month. And so once I get into a continuous cycle of doing this weekly, I will easily be able to get the 500-pound mark.
One other question, I saw it, 2,000 to 3,000 square foot facility to increase tenfold in 1 year, 500 pounds. That's a hefty
It's a lot.
load. That is
but
a
you're
lot.
talking about 5-pound boxes. You're talking about 5-pound cases, and so really 100 cases per week. And like I'm saying, most of these restaurants, these high-volume restaurants and hotels, are going through upwards of 20 per week individually.
So you would need some additional help. You need infrastructure, human capital to help you, though, with that level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
So I didn't realize that fungi needed that mushroom. I couldn't resist.
Good job.
I didn't realize you were a mushroom lover. Obviously. I don't even know how I follow that.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Yeah.
It's a pretty aggressive plan,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure that you haven't undersized the employees that you'll need. Have you rethought that, or do you
have.
think there's any issue there?
I could be in production of 500 pounds weekly on my own.
Okay.
I know lots of commercial growers around the country that do that type of operation by themselves.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, judges, and thank you, Pontchartrain Mushrooms. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, up to the stage right now, finalist number 3, a warm welcome to Full Count. Full count, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm Shannon Schultz. I represent Full Count Athletic Facility, and we are a 12,000 square foot indoor athletic facility for all types of athletes. We have batting cages and pitching lanes, and we also have a skills area with equipment for speed and agility.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schultz, Cliff LaFrance, Coach Kenny Benora, and we represent Full Count Athletic Facility. St. Bernard Parish is home to thousands of children and young adults who participate in organized sports programs. Currently, we have over 900 children registered with the St. Bernard Parish Recreation Department. This number does not include children who participate on elite teams or travel teams. 15 years ago, my son began practicing with Coach Kenny Benora in a batting cage in his backyard, my backyard, or at a facility in Harahan. The need for an indoor facility here was clear, which is why my family and I decided to go into business. Our facility is 12,000 square feet. We have 2 65-foot batting cages, 2 65-foot pitching lanes with mounds. We also have 5 70-foot batting cages that can be converted into 10 35-foot batting cages. We also have a skills area with equipment. Our facility is not only open for members, it is also open to the public. We offer daily and hourly cage rentals. We also have an impressive lineup of instructors. Our instructors offer private batting lessons, pitching lessons, speed and agility, and strength and conditioning training. It's very clear that we need this here in St. Bernard. The money will stay here in St. Bernard instead of us traveling outside of St. Bernard. Now I'm going to hand it over to Cliff to give you some more information about the business.
Thank you, Shannon. My partner Grant Schultz and I have worked many long days and long nights transforming an empty metal building into St. Bernard's first athletic training facility. But before we did that work, we had to come up with a business plan. So we went out, we spoke to owners and workers of facilities like ours that are located outside of St. Bernard Parish. After that, we came up with a number, a magic number. That number was 40. We wanted to have 40 members signed up in our first month of operation. Well, we opened our doors up on February the 14th, Valentine's Day. Yes, bad idea, bad move. But after that first month, we added up the numbers, and we never just met our goal, we smashed it. We had 68 members signed up. Now with that increase in the membership and participants, we need to expand. We need batting cages to be divided. We need pitching machines. We're looking for virtual pitching machines that cost anywhere from $5,000 to $20,000. We already spoken to the owner of a large lot across the street from our facility, which would be the perfect place to have a baseball/softball field. We need equipment for speed and agility, and we would like to invest in equipment for cross-training. That's where Startup St. Bernard comes in. And with that being said, I want to hand over the microphone to Coach Kenny Benora.
When it comes to baseball, I've been doing a lot of my lessons in Harahan, and this is kind of my vision. I really wanted this to happen. I know the positive influence I've had on some of the young players. I now have 4 or 5 of them playing in college, and I always wanted to do it here because that's what this is about. If I'm going to live in this community, we have to invest in the young people. And it's not just about hitting and pitching and all that. It's about the relationships and teaching more than just baseball. It's the work ethic. And I am really excited. I'm reinvigorated with this because I know that I'm going to be not only doing this, what I love, the baseball part of it, but I feel like I'm going to be of great service to the community. I was saying, how can I present this to you, not just what we need, but how can you be involved in this? And I think all of you are going to have little nephews and nieces or relatives that come to our place. And when they go back and tell you that this is a great place, because it is and it will always be, then you'll know that you maybe have a little share in this as well. But I appreciate it, and some of the resources are going to my arm surgery. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was just looking at your financial projections and some of your estimate on your monthly operating costs and expenses. Just a little confused about the electricity at $500 a month, and that your employees' weekly salaries are $200. Because if you can find an employee that I can find for $200, I'll take them to work in the hospital for sure. So can you explain that a little bit more for me?
Sure. We have lessons, private lessons there, so we don't employ the instructors. They work at our facility and they pay us so much per lesson. So they're not an employee. We take a percentage of their lesson fee.
The electricity cost, is that what you've been running, $500 a month for that?
Well,
That
we
seems a
didn't
little
want to put that low, and then when it came in higher, that we had sticker shock. So we put that there. Actually, our first bill came in at $150, but we are air conditioning a very large space.
Right.
So
No, I live in 800 square feet and I pay 100 and something a month. So I was like, hey,
yeah,
maybe
well, you know,
maybe I should move in.
How many memberships would you need to sustain the build out?
well, right now we're at 68, and we've just been in operation for a little over 1 month. If we hit 100, then that pretty much covers all of our bills for that month. Everything else is lanyard. You know, everything else is above that. The lessons, the speed and agility classes, the clinics. So all that would be in addition to what we make.
Man, now you're going to make me just feel real bad about tearing you apart right now. Because I really share, and I'm glad the judges are kind of, I'm feeling this, but and maybe I'll be a little bit more harsh. I think your numbers are very. I mean, I even went as far as to like calling insurance companies and running like, what does the insurance quotes run on a type of business like this? But
I have it in my truck if you
cool. Yeah, and your insurance was actually, well, I guess what I was saying was your insurance is good. Yeah, the electricity, I mean, like, I know my coffee shop, I've got a 2,000 square foot coffee shop in Ponchatoula. We're $1,000 a month on any given month on electricity.
You have to remember that you run your electricity probably 24 hours a day.
But you can cool it down that quick in August, you're going to be running a pretty good
Well, we
deal.
replaced all the lights with LED lights. We only run our air conditioners when we go there. We may store them up maybe 2 hours beforehand, but it's a big warehouse.
So how long are you open? You're not open all day?
No, we're not. During the school hours, we're open from 3 to 9. On the weekends, we're open from 9 to 9. Now, during the summer times, we'll be open longer. So,
And-
like I said, our first bill was $150. It's
Okay.
crazy,
So-
believe it. Our first, but we didn't
And
put. I don't expect that to be every month.
Right, yeah. August is going to be brutal.
Sure.
And then, so you're functioning, you've got your zoning compliance letter, you're all good on that?
Yes, we turned all that in, and we are waiting for the fire department to just approve everything and make sure everything.
Okay. Appreciate it, thanks.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, full count. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, finalist number 4. If we could have your attention to the stage to welcome Neptune's Garden. Neptune's Garden.
I'm David Gross, and I'm the founder of Neptune's Garden, and we intend to bring a full-fledged hydroponic farmers market to St. Bernard Parish. My name's David Gross, and I'm the founder of Neptune's Garden Hydroponic Farm, and our vision is to bring a sustainable indoor hydroponic farm to St. Bernard Parish. And with that in mind, I'd like to ask you a question. How would you like to walk up and down the aisles of a live, sustainable farm, just like you do at the grocery, and pick your produce live from the troughs where they grow? Do you think they taste any different from what you can buy at the grocery? Or how about picking your tomatoes or cucumbers straight from the vine? No wax preservatives, no pesticides, and get this, you don't even have to wash it. You can literally pick it and eat it right there. Imagine that. You think maybe that's the way it's supposed to be? I started experimenting with hydroponics because I was frustrated with the quality of the produce I could buy at the grocery store. The fruit's always a 50-50 shot for taste, and the leafy greens are limp and at least a week or 2 old. And that's because that produce was harvested from some massive outdoor farm that sprays their produce with pesticides and coats them with preservatives so that they can retain their looks until they get them to you. Never mind the nutrient content or the taste. This is the problem that Neptune's garden brings a solution to. Our indoor hydroponic farm will be the first of its kind, not only in St. Bernard, but in the entire New Orleans area. We're a new startup business here in St. Bernard, and we're bringing a new concept and a new idea to an old problem. Growing produce indoors and making it available to the public while it's still alive. So how are we going to do this? Well, to break it down as simply as possible, we use a recirculating hydroponic system, lights, timers, and air conditioning. But that can get expensive, right? Well, it's not exactly cheap. So that's why we want to create a sustainable hydroponic farm that generates its own electricity combined with high output efficient LED lighting. We intend to install a 42 kilowatt solar energy system on the roof of our 15,000 square foot facility at the Port of St. Bernard to generate enough electricity to power all of our air conditioning and lighting needs. This will give us the electricity savings we need in order to expand our production so that we could serve our market, which currently consists of farmers markets, local families, local grocery stores, restaurants, and juice bars. My wife and I currently make up our management team, and we already have a presence in the grocery stores and farmers markets with her seasoning line called Spicy Lady Seasonings, which we make, by the way, from the produce we grow. Cheryl brings a degree in marketing and communications to our team, and with her presence in the local grocery stores, we've already generated interest in the local market. Our products are currently in Aquista Pace's Grocery on the North Shore, Bromart, Dorignacs, New Orleans Food Co-op, Rue Royale, and St. Roch Market. Additionally, we sell our products online at spicylady.org, and we'll be developing family basket orders of fresh produce through neptunesgarden.org. With Cheryl's expertise in sales and marketing and my expertise in construction, together we have the skills to create the perfect environment for the plants to grow and then market our product when it's time for harvest, which, by the way, is consistently. By growing our product indoors, we remove seasonality. No longer do we have to wait for the summer for melons, tomatoes, or peppers, or even strawberries. We can grow them year-round. This is huge for restaurants who currently have no sources for year-round locally grown produce. So by supplying our customers at the farmers market and local restaurants, that will give us the base of operations we need to bring our vision to fruition. And that is to bring a full-fledged, sustainable hydroponic farm to St. Bernard Parish. Every Saturday, we'll open our doors and invite the public to roam through our indoor farm and pick their produce right off the vine or right out of the trough. Additionally, we'll invite other local vendors to our facility and bring back a full-fledged farmers market right inside our warehouse. There's more than enough parking at the port, and when we get our facility ready, we'll begin our social media marketing and spread the word all over St. Bernard Parish and the local metropolitan area. We'll open our facility to the kids of St. Bernard for school field trips and create interest in kids to consider a future in nutrition, agriculture, engineering, electrical, lighting, plumbing, energy production, and potentially any of the fields of endeavor which go into sustainable hydroponic farming. Winning this competition will significantly assist us in completing the repairs of our facility and purchasing the solar system we need in order to get our doors open to the public. Then we can increase our production and create the revenue necessary to hire more people and increase job production here in St. Bernard. This is our picture of what our monthly income looks like at the present moment, before opening and before the electrical savings from the solar system. And this is what our picture will look like at the beginning stages of our farmers market opening. As you can see, we'll have a $4,000 increase in revenue and a $600 per month decrease in expenses. The cash required to complete the renovation is approximately $10,000, and the solar system is $55,000 for a total of $66,000. If we can subtract the $47,500 cash winnings from this contest, then we can be left with an easily manageable $18,500 balance, which we'll absorb with our line of credit and eventually offset with the tax credits from the solar system. Then after that, the picture only gets better as we make a name for ourselves and continue our marketing efforts while we contact the in-kind donors of the program and weave our business in with theirs to create a healthier and more prosperous St. Bernard. There's a new kind of farm in St. Bernard. It's very cool. It's going to be completely sustainable. It's totally healthy, and it's called Neptune's Garden.
Ladies and gentlemen, Neptune's Garden. And now we'll turn this over to our esteemed panel of judges.
David, thank you for taking the time.
Thank
you. Can you talk a little bit more about your team? So right now it's you as the president, and then
me and my wife.
Yes, and she handles marketing and sales.
Yes.
What's your next critical hire to help you kind of get to the next phase?
Really, the next hires that we have are going to be like high school students from St. Bernard. We're going to send them out to the farmers markets to sell at the local farmers markets, and then we're going to be hiring a full-time gardener inside of our warehouse. Then, when we open our facility on Saturdays, we'll have other more high school age people to help us with sales at the farmers market itself, and to go through the process of, planting seeds and harvesting and stuff like that. But really, the harvesting at our facility is negligible and negated because the public come directly to our facility and just pick your produce right from where it grows.
So your model is based entirely on bringing the customer to you, whether that be...
Not entirely, no, but that's what we're driving towards. The reason why is because we want the customer to buy the product in its live state. The moment you harvest, it begins its death stage, and it has its most nutritious value and its most beauty while it's still alive.
So I guess my question arrives at distribution costs. So once you're harvesting.
Well, we're not focusing on distribution because we're focusing on the people coming to us.
Okay. So so it is prohibitively expensive for hydroponics in terms of growth if you don't have the solar system, because the artificial light can be that's a prohibiting limiting factor.
The lighting is changing very rapidly right now as we speak. The LED lighting is not only more powerful and the plants grow quicker, but they utilize much less electricity. So with the combination of the solar system and the LED lighting, we shouldn't see a problem at all. And as a matter of fact, we expect our harvest times to get shorter as a result.
Okay, but this is definitely something that addresses a food need. So congratulations on what you've already done.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Neptune's Garden. Who will be this year's winner? Let's find out with our final contestant. Contestant number 5, ladies and gentlemen, Clean Course. Ladies and gentlemen, Clean Course.
Hi, am Kim Sawyers, and we're with Clean Course Meals. We're a meal preparation company servicing Orleans Parish, Jefferson, and St. Bernard parishes. We offer meal prep and delivery services where people can order 5, 10, 15, or 21 meals for the week and then have those meals delivered out to them. Clean Course is a meal preparation company currently servicing Orleans, Jefferson, and St. Bernard Parish. To keep it simple, we shop, we prep, we deliver. 4 years ago, as I was getting my master's in public health, I took my first trip out of the country to Taiwan. I tell anyone, it was one thing to be American in Taiwan. It was a second thing to be African American, but it was a third to be extremely overweight. I was about 115 pounds heavier than I am today. I stood out in the most unflattering ways. One of our last days there, we took a trip to the beach, and a group of local guys came up to me because they made a bet to see who could lift me up. I had never been so humiliated in my life. That hurtful moment was my turning point, and on the 16-hour plane ride home, I decided to make a change. Clean Course started with just me learning how to eat better and teach my family how to live a healthier lifestyle. 18 months ago, Clean Course became official, serving our first customer its first 5 meals. Today, you can get Clean Course meals through our meal prep delivery service, in retail and wholesale locations, and through our corporate wellness catering.
There are about 15,000 people in St. Bernard Parish that are living Kim's story and looking to live a healthier life. Why is this important? Because poor health is an issue that has historically plagued St. Bernard Parish and surrounding communities, but we are on the verge of a major shift. As millennials are becoming more socially conscious of the food that they are consuming, the opportunities to serve this market is growing. Meal prep delivery is a fairly new and trendy service concept that is considered a luxury service and is generally supported by disposable income. St. Bernard Parish and surrounding communities are not seen as a viable market for this type of service because the perception is that people don't want it, they can't afford it, or they simply don't know enough about it for them to be relevant. We're here to change those perceptions.
We're here to give the access to the community that needs it. Through our online ordering and free delivery, through our subscription-based model where customers can opt into our ongoing delivery service, and customers can also find our products in wholesale and retail locations. We're here to provide them with the education that they need to not only know that eating this perfectly portion-controlled meal can fill them up without overindulgence, and also teaching them how to apply these healthy meals to a fit lifestyle through our affiliate brand, Commit to Be Fit NOLA. And we're here to make that affordable. Clean Course can produce a prepared meal for anywhere from $10 to $13 a unit, and through our subscription-based model, saving our customers at least 50% of what they would pay in a restaurant. And these numbers get even better as we expand to retail and wholesales, bringing the numbers to between $4 to $8 a unit per customers for these sales. Based on the work that we've done, we have mapped out our projections for the next 3 years. Next year, we plan to bring in over 290 in sales, and increasing this by 20% each year. This quarter alone, we have more than tripled our sales from last year at this time.
Of course, we plan to use the funds to expand our team with capable, driven people like ourselves to help move forward the Clean Course mission. We plan to expand our retail partnerships in St. Bernard Parish with business to business that will not only house our meals, but also be a referral source. We've had a huge influx from our social media platforms for nationwide shipping. So we plan to begin nationwide shipping as well as local shipping, which will also bring taxes into the parish and increase the economic sustainability.
What course of action are you prepared to take with us today? Invest in us, partner with us, shop with us, or grow with us. We'd love to hear from you. Please visit our table to check off some of our weekly meals that went out for our packages this week, and we look forward to answering your questions. Thank you.
I'd like you to expand a little bit more about how you think you are going to change the culture of eating in Louisiana. And I know you talked about your market analysis breaking down into different groups. So just expand a little bit on that for me. Thank you.
It's driven through access and education. Having a master's in public health, I know that education is needed, but access is needed as well. So we plan through our brand. We shop, we prep, we deliver, but we educate. Each of our customers, they know what they're eating, where it comes from, and how it's going to benefit them on the long-term run. And so that not only builds a sustainable customer that's going to give us longevity in the company, but it helps to bring the meals closer to them and giving that access that we need.
Just looking at your numbers too, I just had a question about your projections, because what will change between, for 2016-17, you had a projection, you have philanthropic revenue in here that increases pretty significantly, and then it changes from, since founding for 2016-17 from 42,000 to 291,000. So that's a 593% increase in a year, which is pretty ambitious. So what's the catalyst there for that kind of change in those projections?
And so with our projections, we've mapped out increasing by just 20% each year versus 593%. And so this year we've brought in just over 50,000 in the last 18 months we brought in just over 50,000 in sales, and increasing our catering, increasing our wholesale, increasing our business to business. We plan to increase all of these sales revenues streams.
What's your breakdown currently B2C versus B2B? And where do you want to, where would that split end up ideally?
B2C, our average consumer spends about $148 per week. On average, we have currently have about 15 to 16 customers ordering weekly at that 148 average. Our subscriptions range from 68 to 207, keeping our meals just about under that $10 mark for each one. And so those are our B2C models. And so for our B2B, we're selling to coffee shops, gyms, and we've already had some St. Bernard Parish affiliates reach out to us to have our products in their gyms and coffee shops. And so at that range, we're keeping it just about between $4 to $8, and we know that cost can come down. Those are all based on our most conservative numbers, and we know that cost can come down as we scale, because we'll be able to buy in larger quantities versus how we're buying now.
So B2B ultimately is where you want to be?
We want to, yes. Yes, we definitely want to grow huge in our B2B, in our retail and wholesale, so yes.
Okay.
Man, I came up with 5 competing companies that are doing exactly what you're doing right off the top of my head locally, much less Blue Apron and that. Man, you got to sell me. Why do I go with you and not a myriad of different options that are out there?
So starting with me and knowing the passion that I put in, I'm willing to touch every single customer individually and personally. I want to be able to have, for our customers to know that we're a phone call away, that you can touch us. With all these other companies, you have to message them through Instagrams, and it's not really that direct relationship. That we want to build a relationship with the community. We want to have an interaction daily with our customers on how you're progressing through our subscriptions, how you're growing through this, and how you're actually creating that lifestyle. We want to hear from them, and we do. I have people who call every single day asking questions and wanting to know how they can grow and how they can sustain, and we literally answer each and every last one of them. So the biggest thing is to build that relationship and build it strong.
Thank you, Clay Corsi. Well, let's once again thank all our finalists: Neutral Ground, Pontchartrain Mushroom, Full Count, Neptune's Garden, and Clean Course. Our judges are now going to make a very, very hard decision.
I think it went very well. I thought there was a lot of strong competition out there today who presented some very good ideas very well, but I feel comfortable and it's out of my hands now, so hoping for the best.
I may be biased, but I think I'm going to win. I think that a hydroponic facility that brings back a farmer's market to St. Bernard Parish is something that people will really want. And to be able to walk through a warehouse and pick your produce while it's still alive brings a lot to St. Bernard Parish, and that's why I believe in what we're doing.
Well, I think it went really well. I'm very confident in my plan and the answers that I provided for the judges, and I feel very fortunate to be here today.
I think they had some very good questions, legitimate questions about our numbers and our operating expenses, things like that. And we maybe were low on our monthly members. We should have shot for the stars instead of, shooting low. But I think they had very good questions.
I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm not nervous. I'm more anxious than anything. I know that I wish we could have said more of all that we do inclusively, how many people we serve week in and week out. So that is what I wish I could have let them know more, and how sustainable we have been up until date and how we're going to take the money and scale. So just more anxiety than anything.
Crystal, I think you're going to announce the winner, but would you like to impart any wisdom upon those 5 contestants beforehand?
Yes. So I just want to first congratulate, well, first of all, just thank you for standing up here and pouring out your heart. I've done it. I know how it feels. And when you're kind of opening yourself up to yourself up to others about your idea and your vision, and you've got all these eyeballs kind of staring at you, judging you, making their own assumptions and conclusions about how you should run your business. It's not easy. So just want to thank you all for providing just your ideas and thoughts, and for all that you're doing for St. Bernard and certainly the greater New Orleans area. It was a very, very difficult decision for us. We went around and round and round around the table. And in the end, it was still a very difficult decision. But with that, we're very excited to announce that Clean Course is the winner.
When I heard that, this is not our first pitch competition, so we've gotten up there and we heard other names called. So the anxiety in my heart was, I didn't know what to expect, but to hear our names called after the long, we worked this morning, we worked last night, we actually touched the customers up until this morning, still getting our operations off the ground, and we made it here to do this. So this is unreal, but we are grateful and we are ready to make a change.